Jason, give you the time. I have 5:05.
5:05?
Good evening, everyone. Room seems off balance. Everybody's on this side of the room. No one's on this side of the room. Well, good evening. I'll call this meeting to order. There you go. Tonight's regular City Council meeting for May 6, 2025. If you can, please join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, can you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Brando Cruz.
Here.
Councilmember Melissa Lamatina.
Here.
Councilmember David Oro.
Here.
Vice Mayor Mark Joseph.
Here.
Mayor Pierre Washington.
Here. Report on closed session and confirmation and reportable actions, Mr. Ross.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, members of the public, your council convened an open session at 5 o'clock to address the matters that are agendized for closed session consideration. After determining there weren't any public comments on that, you adjourned to closed session to address them at 5 p.m. Councilmember Oro joined you at 5:05 p.m. You concluded the closed session at 6:27 p.m. Our office will do a written report upon return from closed session consistent with the provisions of Government Code Section 54951.7 B. That would constitute the report unless there are questions.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Ross. Moving on to proclamations and presentations. Tonight we have one presentation, one special recognition, and 3 proclamations. And we'll start with the first, ACHS Link Crew presentation. Put you up first.
So we don't have a connector on your laptop that's going to work. Can we get you an email address? How big is the presentation?
It's 13 slides.
How big is this? Is it relatively small?
Excuse me, what cord do you need? Cord to
He said he just wants to. He asked how big it is. I was like, gigabytes.
doesn't matter. I was just make sure it's a You want to see?
you what, let me just pull it up from this link, okay? I'd like to see the actual link, if you could show it to me, please. Scooting just a little bit so I can get my phone. I hate to break it with all these people.
What's your email?
You can't email it. If you would, just give me, is there a link?
It's gonna take a while to type out the link.
So send it to, send it to Chambers. Chambers@americancanyon.gov.
I can't. Can they still do that somewhere else to get it lined up? What I'll do is put you at the end of all the proclamations, and then you guys get the computer thing situated. So we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the proclamation for May 2025 is Water Safety Month. And is there a person to receive the water proclamation? Or several people? I'll be reading the proclamation, and then if you have a few words after that, and then we'll take a picture shortly after that. May 2025 is Water Safety Month, whereas water-related activities such as swimming, boating, and fishing are widely enjoyed by residents of all ages in American Canyon and play an important role in the promoting of healthy and active lifestyles, whereas swimming plays a vital role in the maintaining of physical and mental well-being, building social connections, and enhancing overall quality of life. And whereas it is essential for families and individuals of all ages, whether owners of private pools, users of public swimming facilities, or visitors to natural recreation areas, to understand and follow water safety rules. And whereas drowning is the leading cause of unintentional injury-related deaths of children ages 1 to 4, and second leading cause of children ages 5 to 14 in the United States. Globally, it remains a major public health concern, often resulting from inadequate swimming skills, lack of supervision, barriers to water access, and unsafe conditions in pools, lakes, and other bodies of water. While most drowning incidents are preventable, proven strategies such as promoting swimming competencies, increasing water safety awareness, and ensuring vigilant supervision are essential to reducing the risks and saving lives. And whereas basic swimming proficiencies and water safety awareness are crucial to preventing and surviving drowning situations, as well as to safely assist others in distress. And whereas organizations such as the American Red Cross, the National Recreations and Parks Associations, World Water Park Associations, National Drowning Prevention Alliances, and local aquatic programs are dedicated to advancing water safety through public education, training, and community outreach. And whereas the City of American Canyon is committed to advancing water safety and drowning prevention through a variety of community-focused initiatives, including affordable swimming lessons for all ages and abilities, comprehensive lifeguard certification programs, and year-round public education efforts led by trained aquatics professionals at Philip West Aquatic Center. And whereas Water Safety Month serves as a timely reminder for individuals, families, schools, and community organizations to work together to promote safe behaviors in and around all types of water. And now, therefore, Be it resolved that I, Pierre Washington, Mayor of American Canyon, on behalf of the American Canyon City Council, proclaim the month of May 2025 as Water Safety Month in American Canyon. I urge all residents to learn the lifelong skills of swimming, support drowning prevention efforts, and participate in water safety programs to help spread awareness to prevent water-related accidents and injuries.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for recognizing May as Water Safety Month. My name is Alana Ben. I am your Recreation Manager for the Parks and Rec Department. And with me, I have Ashley Logan, our Recreation Coordinator that oversees our aquatics. And then I have a very small scale of our lifeguarding team with us tonight. I have Kaden, Dominic, and Doogie. The rest of our team wanted to be here tonight, but they're actually teaching our lessons this evening. So as a city, we are committed to the community being safe in and around water. We do this through swim lessons, lifeguard trainings, and public education. Drowning is preventable, so we want to be able to share the information, the tips, and the resources that people have so that we can prevent any drownings. This month, we are going to be posting every Wednesday for our Water Safety Wednesday tips and resources so the community can stay safe. And thank you for supporting this initiative and building American Canyon to be a safe community.
And thank you for what you do, Alana and Ashley and team. Thank you.
I'm coming around.
Next, we have Melody Condor. Oh, is it set up for you guys now? Okay, then we'll do your presentation. This is the American Canyon High School Link Crew presentation.
Hello, we are all Link Crew leaders from American Canyon High School, and we are presenting our Betting on Our Future campaign. And this is a youth initiative about raising awareness about youth gambling.
So to start off, our definition of gambling is placing something of value at risk in hopes of gaining something of greater value.
So this is a question for the audience. Have you or ever witnessed betting on sports games, money on the outcome? And there's a lot of different examples. So raise your hand if you've seen any of these. Not a surprise.
Okay, so knowing that you guys have seen all of these things present in not only our city, but around the community. So we're talking about what's the legal age to gamble. So legally, the age to gamble is 18, yet 85% of teens have knowingly admitted that they participate in gambling activities, and 84% of parents actually disagree with these activities, knowing so.
So in schools, a lot of times we do have raffles, but technically it is considered a gambling activity. So they changed the wording to opportunities to win so that they're able to still do these raffles under a different name. And one interesting story we found is a man who actually won the lottery for $5 million, but was not able to claim it because his underage son had bought the lottery ticket.
Okay. So I know a lot of us might think that gambling addictions are way far away from us, and especially like our children. So, but there's a bunch of things that can lead to your teenagers and your kids lead to them having a gambling addiction. So like buying mystery game prizes or doing arcade games, all of that kind of stuff promotes teen gambling.
So there's a lot of different reasons why people gamble. One of them is definitely being exposed to it at a young age can definitely affect that, and then getting that high at the young age by winning can make you want to keep chasing it. Another thing can be social media, and then just trying to get rid of those feelings of depression or any other feelings that you're trying to numb with gambling.
So one of our biggest questions are, why are teens more at risk? Well, teen years are usually characterized by high-level risk-taking and the risk of seeking rewards, impulsiveness, peer pressure, essentially just putting themselves out there in risky ways, and that can lead to dangerous habits.
So a lot of us think that gambling isn't a big issue for youth, but we find that 4% of the students who develop a gambling addiction and 10 to 14% of adolescents are at risk for developing a serious gambling addiction. So even though these activities start very young, they can progress into something much greater.
And like Sarah was saying, like this doesn't seem like a huge problem, but students who gamble are more likely to have gambling addictions and more likely to be influenced by adults. They're 3 times more likely to use marijuana, use illegal drugs, get in trouble with the police, get involved in a gang fight, and they're more likely to steal or shoplift.
So betting on our future, or betting on our future, or BOOF, is one of the programs dedicated to informing minors about the dangers of gambling. Link Crew Leaders, which are us, have created a campaign to help our community be more aware of the dangers of gambling.
So this is the campaign that we have created this year that we're going to present to the freshman classes, and it surrounds the idea, don't bet on a dime to have a good time. So we wanted to advertise the idea that yes, you can spend this money and risk your emotions and risk your experience, or you can put your time and effort into guaranteed fun and guaranteed activities, especially in this community. So this is our video PSA for this year.
This is John. John was given $100, but the way he spends it is up to him. This is John again. He was given the same $100. The only thing that makes him different is his choices. Gambling is a risk that is highly addictive to the youth. So, spend responsibly and don't bet on a dime without your time.
Okay, so I'm Jackie,
I'm Sarah.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Melody.
and thank you guys for listening to our presentation.
Thank you, AC Link crew. But before you go, we'll take a picture with you guys too. I was going to say I bet you guys wanted to take a picture, but I chose not to go there. Next, we have a special recognition of Napa Valley Youth of the Year, and I would ask for Melody Condor to come up to the podium. Welcome, Melody.
Long time no see.
I know, right? The Boys and Girls Club of Napa Valley Youth of the Year. Whereas the City of American Canyon proudly recognizes outstanding young individuals who demonstrate exceptional dedication to their education, extracurricular activities, and community service. Whereas Melody Condor, a 17-year-old junior at American Canyon High School, has been named the Boys and Girls Club of Napa Valley Youth of the Year, an esteemed honor recognizing leadership, service, and academic excellence. And whereas Melody has been an active member of the Boys and Girls Club of Napa Valley since 2015, beginning her journey at Donaldson Way Elementary School, and continuing her commitment through her high school years. And whereas Melody has demonstrated leadership and engagement through programs such as Smart Girls, Camp Mendocino, The Future Leaders, contributing to her personal growth and betterment of her peers. And whereas, in addition to her club involvement, Melody has excelled in extracurricular activities, serving as vice president of the Key Club, secretary of the Science National Honor Society, and research officer for the California Scholarship Federation, as well as being an active member of the Red Cross, Concert for Chamber Choir, and whereas Melody is dedicated to athletic participation as the varsity track and varsity cross country, furthering showcasing her determination and resilience. And whereas Melody exemplifies a strong commitment to the community service, regularly volunteering with the Kiwanis of American Canyon, and even starting a band to explore her passion for music and leadership. And whereas Melody distinguished herself academically and aspires to attend Stanford University, a goal reflecting her ambition, diligence, and unwavering pursuit of excellence. And now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Pierre Washington, on behalf of the City Council and community, do hereby recognize and commend Melody Condor for her outstanding achievement, leadership, and contribution to her city. Her dedication to education, service, and personal growth serves as an inspiration to all. And we proudly celebrate her success as the Boys and Girls Club of Napa Valley of the Year.
Thank you, Mayor Washington.
Any words?
Oh, goodness. Oh, I wasn't expecting that. I just want to say thank you so much. I had no idea I was going to receive this award originally until a couple weeks ago whenever I moved up for Youth of the Year. But I'm honestly super honored, and I'm glad to share this moment with all of you guys. I vowed to continue to serve, especially Kiwanis and Key Club, and all of my peers, and I'm super excited to continue into my senior year.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll go in the front, take a picture with you.
And I would like to add a little update that Melody is now the president of the Key Club going into next year. So congratulations.
Next, item number 6, we have the Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Do we have a recipient for this award? Don't be bashful. Come on up. May 2025, Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have enriched our nation's history with their contributions, achievements, and cultural heritage. And whereas Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month provides an opportunity for all citizens to learn about and celebrate the rich history, diverse culture, and invaluable contributions of the Asian American and Pacific Islanders to the United States. And whereas throughout our history, Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have made significant contributions to every aspect of our society, including science, technology, business, education, government, and arts, enriching the fabric of our nation. And whereas Asian Americans and Pacific Islander Heritage Month presents an opportunity to recognize the challenges and discriminations that Asian Americans and Pacific Islander communities have faced and continue to face, and to recommit ourselves to the ongoing work of building a more inclusive and equitable society. And whereas our community is made stronger and more vibrant by our diversity, and we celebrate the many cultures, languages, and traditions and history of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders that contribute to the tapestry of our shared American identity. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Mayor Pierre Washington, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and I urge all residents to join in celebrating the contributions of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders to our community, our state, and our nation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Councils. You know, it's an honor to receive this award. You know, I think it's pretty big because our school, we run, my son and I run Triumph Fitness Center, and we just not only have Asian Americans, Pacific Islanders, but every other race in there that we come together as one and help build a stronger community for American Canyon. You know, so thank you again for all the for this award, and we look forward to providing and growing with City American Canyon.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Like,
I'm shy. Nah, I'm one of the fighters at Triumph Fitness Center. I'm one of the pros. I'm 5-0 as a pro right now, and I have a fight May 17th in San Jose. So it would be great if you guys come down and support. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, champ.
And I'm sorry, I'm Bobby Sornio Jr., and this is Bobby Sornio III. So, yeah, guys. So.
Good evening, Mayor Washington, City Council members, and esteemed members of the community. My name is Devet Mohammed. In American Canyon, Asian Americans constitute approximately 33.9% of the population, making them the largest racial or ethnic group in our city. This vibrant community includes individuals of Filipino, Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, Indian, Korean, Japanese, and Pacific Islander descent, among others. Our city's rich diversity is one of the greatest strengths. We celebrate the cultural traditions, entrepreneurship spirit, and civic contributions of our Asian American and Pacific Islander residents who have helped shape American Canyon into the inclusive and dynamic community it is today. Thank you to the City of American Canyon for recognizing and honoring this heritage. It is truly meaningful to see our diversity celebrated and our communities uplifted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may just add, Professor Bobby here, I've been training as one of his students in American Canyon for over 25 years. In fact, his first school was at his house in his garage. So there was a lot of tumbles, a lot of bruises, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, if you will. He's a very modest man. His son, my nephew, little Bobby Stronio, of course, you heard that he'll be fighting, along with another student, my other nephew. So we have great fighters, great trainers here in American Canyon. So they're raising it up, they're representing us, our kids. So please come by and visit our schools. Professor Bobby, Bobby Jr., and of course, the vet. She trains too. She's, it's good looking and pretty gal she is. She's a fierce fighter as well. So thank you for representing us.
All right, champ. The last proclamation for this evening, it says older, but I typically fall in that category too, so I'm just going to say seasoned. It's the May 2025 as Older Seasoned Americans Month. Do we have some recipients to come up? I'm seasoned too, see? Well, we'll let them sit, and then when it's time for a picture, we'll have them come up, because you're seasoned. Reading, May 2025 as Older Americans Month. Whereas May is Older Americans Month, a time for us to recognize and honor American Canyon's older adults and their immense influences on every facet of American Canyon, or American society. And whereas through their wealth of life experience and wisdom, older adult guides our younger generations and carry forward abundance of cultural and historical knowledge. And whereas older American improve the communities through intergenerational relationships, community service, civic engagement, and many other activities. And whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas expanding elder populations profoundly impacts every facet of our lives, redefining our ideals of work, retirement, and leisure, altering our housing and living arrangements, changing our healthcare system, reshaping our economic, and altering social and public policies. And whereas the opportunity and challenges that await us require our continued commitment to the goals of ensuring that our older Americans enjoy activities, products, and healthy lives, and do so independently, safely, and with dignity. And whereas American Canyon must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their communities, reflecting our commitment and inclusivity of connectiveness. And whereas the City Council and the City of American Canyon wishes to express its appreciation for the past and continued contributions of its older residents to the community and our nation, and recognizes that older Americans are vital and a growing part of our city, and therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor Pierre Washington, on behalf of American Canyon City Council, do hereby proclaim May 2025 to be Older Season American Month. And I urge every resident to recognize and contribute of the contributions of our older citizens, help to create an inclusive society, and join efforts to support older seasoned Americans' choices about how they age in their communities.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, esteemed council. I think that in this particular climate, this is a really appropriate proclamation. I'm part of the advisory council for the Area Agency on Aging, and I went to the rally day virtually, and it's pretty scary out there. So just really quickly, the Older Americans Act was established in 1965. So this is the 60th anniversary of the Older Americans Act. The Older Americans Act provides support in nutritional services, transportation, elder abuse prevention and education, the Ombudsman Program, and family caregiver support, just to mention a few of the things. American Canyon, 9% of the residents of American Canyon live below the federal poverty level. The threats to the Health and Human Services programs are, they could be catastrophic. So I want to just make sure that we're all mindful of the impact these cuts could have. I want everybody in this audience to please reach out to your representatives, both state, federal, and local. And just, we really need to get together. One of the takeaways I got from today's rally was that we can make a difference. Even though our representatives will more than likely vote the way that we want them to vote, the more we reach out to them, they can go into whatever it is that they're going into and say, I have this number of many constituents that are against what you're trying to do. So please, I encourage you to reach out. I want to end on a little positive note. I think you're all aware, not all of you maybe, but that American Canyon was named by Forbes magazine as the best place to retire in the whole of the United States of America. So, yay American Canyon. I think that's really awesome. And again, I want to thank you for this award, or no, this certificate, the proclamation. Thank you. Yeah, okay, and then I'm just going to turn it over to Devette.
Okay. Do you want me to say this?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So good evening again, Mayor Washington, members of City Council, and members of the community, Devette Mohammed. I'm here to represent Soroptimist. Soroptimist is a global volunteer organization that works to improve the lives of women and girls through programs leading to social and economic empowerment. Locally, we are also proud to serve and uplift our senior population through our dedicated senior committee. One of the other ways that we do this is by organizing senior events like the upcoming Roving Bingo that's happening on Wednesday, May 14th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at World Marine Clubhouse. I have it posted online, and it's Roving Bingo. It will be at a different location next month. And then on Wednesday, May 21st, we have our senior resource fair. We're going to have information and referrals for local seniors. Vendors include the American Canyon Fire Department, the American Canyon Library, the Alzheimer's Association, Area Agency on Aging, et cetera, et cetera. Yes. So please come. What else did I want to say? So we are proud to advocate for and support our seniors, and we thank the City of American Canyon for recognizing their vital role in our families and in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am also a Seroptimus, and I want to talk a little bit about what's going on at our Senior Resource Fair on May 21st. I'm very interested in all of the vendors that are going to come and let seniors know what is available to them in our community and in a bigger Napa community. I'm most interested in transportation. Napa Valley Transportation Authority does provide a bus in American Canyon. I don't know if everybody knows it. Anybody can ride it for $1 to take you anywhere in the city. And all you have to do is call them. And you don't have to call them a week ahead of time. You can call them 10, 15 minutes a time if you want. The other transportation that Napa Valley Transportation Authority provides is a paratransit. And that is for people that need to go into Napa. It's $4 to ride into Napa and $4 to ride back. You do need to give them a week's notice. They will schedule you. If you are disabled, they will take you to the door of where you're going and not just a bus stop. I am concerned that I think a lot of people in American Canyon, a lot of elderly people in American Canyon don't know about this resource and may be reticent to use a bus. So when we have our resource fair, if anybody is afraid to ride a bus or they don't know about it or whatever, just say so and I will be a buddy rider. So, you know, and you can get on a bus, if you have a walker or a wheelchair or you can't make the steps or whatever, they will get you on the bus. They have a lift and they'll do that. The other transportation that's available to seniors, and this is very important, is Molly's Angels. They will pick you up, take you to your appointment, wait for you, and bring you back. It's free. It's through Molly's Angels. You do need to make a week advance. But transportation seems to be such an issue for seniors in our community. So these two resources, Napa Valley Transportation Authority and Molly's Angels, are excellent resources for you. And I'm hoping that those of you who may be neighbors, friends, family, caregivers, whatever, all of you are welcome to come and find out what resources are available to our senior population. So hopefully you'll all bring somebody, you'll all come. Anyway, and I want to thank the city also for being a part of us in helping get the word out and so on and so forth. Just so you know, the resource fair is going to be at 2 Andrew Road. That's the American Canyon Community Church. And it will be from 10 to 1. Now, if you can't get there, call the Transportation Authority. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Joan, for those transportation resources. Now we'll be moving on to open public comment for items that are not on the agenda. You'll have 3 minutes to express your comment.
Mayor Washington, I have no speaker cards and no one is online.
Okay. Then we'll close open comment and we'll move to agenda changes. Are there any agenda changes? We have we have 13 consent items.
I don't see any agenda changes, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
We have a second. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamatina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes. Okay, well, next is public hearing. There are actually no public hearing on any public hearing items, so let's move on to our business items. First business item is item number 21, Measure U, 5-year expenditure plan for fiscal year 2025, 2026 through fiscal year 2029 through 2030. Erica.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, members of the community. Erica Almond-Smithies, Public Works Director. I'm here to bring to you the Measure U 5-year project list expenditure plan. It's a little advanced. We don't have a master agreement yet, but we have one Napa Valley Transportation Authority board meeting before it goes to the Independent Tax Oversight Committee in June. And because the funding starts on July 1. So we want to make sure we have an expenditure plan in place while we're concurrently working on the new master agreement with Napa Valley Transportation Authority. With that, I'll get started on the project. What is Measure U? For those who haven't been quite up on local politics, it is the new Measure T. It's just continuing along the sales tax for Measure U. I'll go over the projected Measure U revenues, which is yay, more for City of American Canyon and more for our streets. The current PCI and spending strategy that we have in engineering, the method of treatments, and 5-year expenditure plan. A little background, as I said, it's a Napa County-wide Road Maintenance Act. It superseded the Measure T by the voters in November of 2024. It's a half-cent sales tax measure administered by the Napa Valley Transportation Authority. We are now going to be receiving 8% as of July 1 versus the 7.7% of Measure T. And the numbers will be reviewed every 5 years as far as the average sales tax revenues that our city receives. As we know, we were locked in at a certain rate. Our numbers went up. They may fluctuate in the next 5 years, depending on what additional sales tax base we receive, but it puts us in a strong hold and increases our sales tax revenues for the next 5 years to come. It does require a maintenance effort that will vary over the years. I believe it's 20% of the proceeds, but it's on year one, it'll be based on our original of $370,000. And we'll be updating the 5-year expenditure plan every 2 years, as we have done in the past. The most recent one was done on December of 2023, so the list that was provided to you this night is pretty much the same list with additional additions this evening. The Measure U program, projected revenues, if all things stay on course as they have been, are projected as follows for the next 5 years. I think originally our revenues for Measure T were 1.2, and they were tracking about 1.6, I believe, annually, or 1.8. So this shows us at 1.9, starting off higher than we have been projecting or already, with the annual CPI added to the forecast over the next 5 years. The city's average PCI right now is 55. The good news is we are due for our annual, or not annual, but our biennial inspection this year. So we recently received our notification from MTC that we're getting our PTAP, our biennial. We missed a year, so we're getting our pavement inspections, and hopefully it'll show that the Cape Seal treatments we've done over the past 3 years and the other treatments will be raising our scores. And hopefully by the time they come out here, maybe around November, we'll have some of the projects that we're working on now and completed, so they can start tracking those new pavement condition indexes and bring our PCI up a great deal. Our spending strategy, briefly discussed this in the past, and try to share it with folks. They're always saying, why are they fixing the better streets every few years? Well, there's a reason, because if we can keep those streets looking good, they cost a lot less to keep looking good. And if we can try some of the Cape Seal treatments, which are like a 2-layer system of a rubberized surface with a coating on top, it can expend the life for another 5 to 10 years. And so far, I believe that the streets that we've done 3 years ago are still holding up pretty well, like Blanco Court, Folland, Brophy. We did some experiments on some worse cracking streets. And as recently as 2 years ago, we did the Cookie Hill neighborhoods in Donaldson Way. So this year we're taking on a lot of projects that were full reconstructs. Green Island Road in the Industrial District. I have some news to report on that this evening. And of course, the one-time federal aid from COVID, the ARPA funds. We're now going to be paving next week on Knightsbridge. That was actually a deep lift pavement overlay, and Cape Seals are grind overlays on the courts. And then Rancho Del Mar will be a full reconstruct on Rio Del Mar, and some of the Cape Seal and cul-de-sac treatments of a pavement overlay in the bulbs. So our PCI should be looking a lot better after this year's projects. And then here's a little glance. This last year we completed less than half a mile on Benton. That was a full reconstruct, and our total project cost was $1.6 million. And then the year before, we did Cape Seal treatments in the Cookie Hill area, and that was 1.7 miles for the same amount. So you get a bigger bang for your buck when you can kind of spread it out. And we'll be doing a lot of, my map's next. Here's the overall view of the next 5 years. As you can see, there's going to be a lot of reconstruction going on in the city. What's not included in here is the Green Island Road, South Kelly, Tower, Devlin connections that are part development, mostly development and county reimbursed. And tonight, what you didn't have in your list before, we've added the Green Island Road reconstruct. As I said earlier, our bid opening happened today. The bids came in higher, but we had 11 bids. The lowest 3 bids were within several grand of each other. Like, they were tight. We had 11.4, like 200, 11.4, 500, and then an 11.4, 56,000. That was our low bid, which was provided. Apparent low bidder of O.C. Jones. We're currently going through those bids right now, but it's putting us over our current budget allowance. So we wanted to add Measure T, the Hannah Way, Commerce Boulevard, Mazetta Court, Jim Oswalt Way, and Green Island Road in case we have overruns. We just want to make sure we have ample dollars when we come to award on May 20th. We're still literally going through the budget and item by item, making sure nothing's missed, and give us more flexibility on where we can use our funding to leverage more dollars. As many of you are aware, we had $5.5 million of Economic Development Administration funding towards this, and then it's local community facilities development tax, CFD, like an LLAD, where the property owners are paying a big assessment to help get this project underway. So it helped boost the projects by having the additional flexibility of using Measure T funds. And I believe our balance was $5 million, or is currently $5 million before we go to award of the Green Island Road. So we're doing okay. With that, I will take any questions that you may have. I did also add a little bit of funding for radar feedback signs. We've been doing a little bit each year of general fund money, but it'd be nice to get the rest, about 6 signs remaining, added to the fund, and get those replaced in the next fiscal year. So,
Thank you, Erica. I got a quick question. When you do your bidding, it says it's so close in the numbers. Is there another process that you use where you say you look for references of these contractors to find out whether or not they've done business in other locations and how those businesses are satisfied or not satisfied? And can you make a judgment from there if say the lowest bidder, you find that a city says, you know what, they had to come back and redo something? Is that taken into account?
we do check references. The top 3 are really well-known contractors. The apparent low bidder was O.C. Jones, and then the second 2 low bidders are very familiar to us, Gelati Construction and Gelati Brothers. Okay. And I haven't worked with O.C. Jones in many years, but I've known them for over 20 years in other projects and other agencies, but they do great work. They recently did some work, I believe they did the roundabout on 116, if I'm not mistaken, in Sonoma County, 116 and 121, and other work around the area. So, we have, July Construction's in the backyard, but, we have other competitors, and it was very tight. It was very nice to see. It was like a nice spread. 3 at 11, 1 at 12, and there was quite a few in the 13s, and the highest was 15.1 million. So quite a spread of bidders.
That's fair. Councilmember Oral.
Yeah, can you go back to the map slide, please?
Yes.
Okay, so I have the benefit of going through these before, and I also have the benefit of walking this city like 4 or 5 times in the last every couple years, like literally walking every street. And I know you guys do the surveys, and I also do the Oro survey, and I know there's some streets that cannot wait until 29 and 30. How do we get them moved up? Like literally, it's gravel, and we did this before on Fallen, and I think in other places, no, it wasn't Fallen, it was Sheffield. Sheffield, right? It literally was gravel. I'd be happy to bring those to your attention. It's one road that I know of that I know can't wait. It was actually on the Sheffield list before. But I would like for you to come out there and see it and consider it.
Definitely.
And then, obviously, Cape and Seal is the cheapest version, I think it is, to prevent some stuff, too. I'm curious, though, for 25-26 in Montevino, it says reconstruct, which is am I reading that right? Is that the right red color, or is that Cape and Seal for this year? There's a couple colors that look the same, and
There's many in the Montevino that are for Cape Seals. So I'm not sure. That's
on the bottom of that page where Montevino is, closer to the border of Vallejo, what color is that? That's not a reconstruct, is it? Or is that a Cape and Seal for this year? Do you know?
I see Cape Seal.
Okay. It just looks from here. I was like, oh, why would they do a whole reconstruct? So
It's not a reconstruct, it's a Cape Seal.
okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vice Mayor Joseph.
Yeah, I realize that you've got a lot of options there, so you have to have a lot of blending colors, but I can see where Councilmember Oro has his point. It looks like grind and overlay as much as it looks like a Cape Seal. So maybe some of us who are seasoned just can't make those color distinctions, but we don't know. I wanted to jump back to Green Island. So that also included kind of our version of a project labor agreement,
Yes,
and everybody was okay with that? Nobody said anything terrible?
not yet.
Okay, good. And then the idea of adding Hannah and Dodd Court and all those into the Measure U is just to make sure we could take care of all of the roads, even if we don't have enough money in the Green Island pot.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I
good.
didn't have Dodd Court on there, but
Well-
with the other ones on the
Yeah.
list.
The others. Okay, good. And then just to bug you on the grade 4 versus grade 1, 2, or 3 bike path on Commerce.
We are definitely doing a buffered lane. I was talking to our senior civil engineer this evening about which one we were doing, so going back and forth on what would fit. And
Yeah.
I believe the end of it was, we didn't have time before the meeting, was to confirm that whether it was definitely a protected lane or for sure it's a buffered lane.
Okay.
Um,
Is that buffered means
the-
there's
the
something
2-foot
there?
Not an actual physical barrier. The buffered means it's a class 2 with buffer, which is the striped striations you see a lot that are
Oh.
going in and around the county.
Oh,
We were
like-
going back and forth on whether the physical barriers would work with the truck turning radiuses, but I will nail that one
Okay,
down.
okay, good. All right, great. I'm excited looking at the map. You can see a lot of, I'm thinking of areas that are really pretty bad, that it's exciting to see that they're going to get fixed up. So I'm very happy and good job.
Seeing no other questions from council, at this time, I'd like to open up the public comment for item 21. Seems like no comments inside here, online.
There are no cards, and I have no one online.
Okay. There's no more comments online or here on item 21. Return to council for any additional statements, questions, or adoption of the minute order.
I do want to also comment that Cookie Hill is still looking good 2 years later, so just a personal testimony. And if no one else has any other personal testimonies or comments, I am more than happy to make a motion to adopt a resolution next in order approving a 5-year expenditure plan for FY 25-26 through FY 29-30 under Measure U.
I'll second.
Thank you. And first, a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamatina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes. The next business item is item number 22, Rancho Del Mar Paving and Utility Improvement Project Construction Budget. Erica.
Thank you. Well, as we endeavor to try to meet our budget and stay within it, we also are working on the oldest subdivision in the city with some of the oldest utility lines. And we uncovered quite a bit on this project during construction that if we had done potholing prior to, we would have probably caught some of this and been allowed to, we don't need this part right now. I don't have
Okay.
a presentation for this portion of the
I
evening.
would have found another street.
But I'm coming to here with my hat in the hand, due to some of the project overruns that we could have found in advance of the project, should we have done potholing during design, would be we would have known how shallow some of the utilities such as PG&E's gas mains were, or gas lines, and probably pivoted on the type of reconstruct we're doing on Rio Del Mar. We're already pivoting to go into a deep lift type of project where we're just doing a deeper pavement section instead of doing the full shoeing up the asphalt and putting it back down. For members of the public, that saves money. It's recycling in place, and it's going to probably be some of the cost savings, but the other items were also old utility lines and not realizing some of the lines were shared services, and the design overlooked not connecting the services all the way to the meter boxes, and so there's extras that added that were overlooked during the project design. And so we're here asking for another $500,000 to the project budget so we can make sure we get through full construction or full project budget on this in case there's other contingencies discovered during the project. They've done most of the underground work at this point, but we're just making sure that when we get to the paving section, we have enough funding for the additional pavement that's needed to complete the project. They are starting on the slip lining of the sewer main. I believe that's scheduled for next week, so that's pretty exciting. But just making sure we have ample budget contingency remaining for any else that we're not aware of. But there shouldn't be any other surprises once we get past the undergrounding. With that, I'm open for questions or other concerns.
Okay. Vice Mayor Joseph.
Okay. When I first heard about this, my initial reaction was, well, why didn't, these are the older parts of town. You would normally pothole them more so than anything else because you'd expect to find surprises. In reading the staff report, I got the impression that some of the decision-making was the constraint of the ARPA funding. That is, we needed to get it locked up before we lost it.
Right.
So I guess from my perspective, if that weren't a constraint and you spent more time and did all that potholing and analyzed it, would you basically have said, we need to do this more expensive approach to handle it, or?
Likely, hindsight's usually 20/20. So, already I have staff members wanting to do phase 2 in-house and in designing it, because there's other things that we are aware of as locals that are concerned. We work in the community, we know where there might be some pitfalls, and working closely with our utility staff on this one moving forward. We were a little bit, there was some of that, I believe, communication internally, some of these older services and what we should have been doing, and we're fixing communication quite well between the departments now that we're one again. And we're looking forward to doing the next one in-house, which was just phase 2, which is part of the Measure U that was approved, and in our CIP to start design. We're just trying to free up staff time so we can start that. And we can start that with hiring the surveyors, and or the potholing. We just got to identify first the survey and get the survey completed, and then start the next one is identify where we should be potholing to check for conflicts, and get out in front of the cart with PG&E. We had some issues getting in contact with them immediately. And then it was found that the letters never got sent out by our consultant. And then we still had time before construction started, but a lot of the items, they're just, there's pros and cons of having consultants and just a lot of things that we've learned from on this project.
Yeah. I guess my point is, the impression I got is it probably would have been relatively the same amount of money. It just would have looked, you wouldn't have had to come here and say, hey, we missed it by a mile. But, so, this is my really awkward approach of coming to your defense. You might not have noticed it, but it sounds like it's one of those deals where, had you had more time and not the constraint of the ARPA funding, you might have been able to say, hey, look, this is all done and buttoned up, and it would have been one thing and everything would have been fine. So it's just managing all of the complexities of, time constraints and such.
Great example would be Benton Way. That was designed in-house. It was a little bit of ARPA funding for some of the enhanced crosswalks, but it was designed in-house. We even had city staff, streets, help pothole. They came in under budget compared to what a contractor would have cost the city. We had a little time. It was mostly our local funding, Measure T and state funding. So it just showed like a lot of due diligence up front, saved us a lot in the back end as far as change orders. So
good. we're getting things done, and that's the main point, and we're using Measure T money to plug this gap, not the general fund, so life is good.
And enterprise, we're offsetting with Measure T for the road construct, where ARPA could have been used for either utilities. So instead of depleting our reserves in our enterprise, and we're using the ARPA, the Measure T, using ARPA to help with the utilities and using Measure T to help with the paving.
Okay, good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Vice Mayor Erica. Thank you. Any other questions? At this time, I'd like to open it to public comment for item number 22. Seeing none in the room, any online? None online. We'll return to the council for any additional statements, questions, or an adoption of this minute. The ask is that we adopt the resolution amending the fiscal year 2024-2025 capital budget.
If there's no other comments, I'm happy to make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2025 next in order, adopting a resolution amending the FY 24-25 capital budget and increasing the project budget from $7,666,232 to $8,216,232, conjunction with the Rancho Del Mar Paving and Utility Improvements Project, TR 240300.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamatina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes. The next business item is item number 23, council committee appointments. Mr. Holly.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just looking at the city clerk whose name is on this. She's pointing at me. I'll take this one. Back in December, the council assigned various members of the council to attend to different committees, 2x2 committees, regional committees, et cetera. Mayor Washington has found his new schedule a little more impacted, I think, than he was anticipating with his new role as mayor, and has asked that we have some additional assignments. And so one of them relates to the NBSD 2x2 committee, which meets sort of quarterly, and sometimes we meet here, sometimes we meet on Jefferson Street in Napa, but discussing issues of coordination back and forth between the city and the school district. And it's recommended that Councilmember Lamatina replace Mayor Washington on that committee. The North Bay Watershed Association is a regional group that we're affiliated with. It works on a lot of regional watershed issues. They do have monthly meetings, although they don't meet every month. So in fact, I don't think they have a meeting in May. I think they're not meeting again until June, as my memory is right. And it's recommended that Councilmember Cruz replace Mayor Washington on the NBWA board. Sorry, I'm a little bit under the weather. I'm kind of sniffling right now. And then lastly, staff is bringing forward a concept of creating an ad hoc council subcommittee. This would be a new ad hoc committee focused on communications and really taking our communication strategies and engagement strategies to the next level. And we have some ideas around next year's budget and staffing and how we operate our communication functions. But we do think it would be appropriate to have a council subcommittee to advise that process and to advise staff. The council serves a focal point of engaging with the community, receiving feedback from the community, and then bringing that into the organization. And there should be some reciprocity as we go back out to the community and making sure that we have those communication strategies and channels going back out in the way that we have them coming in. And so the mayor generally serves as the city's de facto spokesperson in a lot of regards. That's what the municipal code talks about, along with myself. But we also felt Councilmember Oro would be a great choice because of his professional expertise in this field. And it's just sort of a coincidence that we have a communications expert amongst our midst, so we felt like it might be good to take advantage of that if he was willing to do it. So the recommendation is to also appoint Mayor Washington and Councilmember Oro to this new communications subcommittee. This will meet on an ad hoc basis. It's not going to be a regularly occurring thing. It's going to meet on an as-needed basis, and we'll be working on our communication strategies.
Thank you for that, Mr. Holly. Now, those are three different things. Do we need to do each one individually, or can we just do one unless there's some?
No, procedurally, Mayor, a minute order modifying the council committee appointment list will suffice.
And do we need to have Councilmember LaMartina and Councilmember Cruz acknowledge verbally that they are accepting those positions?
That would be my suggestion. I mean, technically you can assign them against their will, but my suggestion is that we get some sort of nod of the head.
I just want to make sure that they're willfully accepting those.
Councilmember Cruz, Councilmember LaMartina, I'm just doing it too, so.
A little bit for everyone.
I guess I'll accept.
Okay.
I accept.
Okay.
Your guys are recorded now, so you know that you're officially in those positions. Okay. And I accept that part with the communication, and would love to work with David on that, Councilmember Oro. And you said that is just a minute order?
Correct, although public comment would be an important part to do before that.
I'd like, at this point, to open up for public comment on item number 23, the appointments. See no one in the room? Anyone online? No one online? And now we'll return to council for a motion.
As the only person who's impacted by any of these changes, I am, and I'm also happy to welcome Councilmember LaMartina to the MVUSD 2x2. It's nothing but fun. So I'll make a minute order that we make those changes, that we swap Mayor Washington on the NVUSD 2x2 with Councilmember LaMartina, that we replace Mayor Washington on the North Bay Watershed Association with Councilmember Cruz, and that we establish a communications subcommittee with Pierre Washington, Mayor, and Councilmember David Oro.
And just for the record's purpose, that shows up as attachment 1. Those items are in a modified sheet, and those changes are shown in red.
Okay, so I could have made it real quick by approving the attached
Made it ultra
appointment
crystal
list.
clear.
Okay.
I'll second.
Sometimes we're not good at it.
We have a second, so we get a roll call, please.
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember LaMartina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes, and one final question about that. Are those two committees, the representative for those, are they being notified of the changes as well?
They will be. Yeah. North Bay Watershed will be, but 2x2, we don't need to know
the next meeting.
But
Okay.
For North Bay Watershed, we will. Yeah.
All right, the next business item is item number 24, the Assembly Bill AB 2561, presentation on staff vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts in 2024.
Mayor, before Scott Corey gets started, just one for the council's perspective. You haven't seen this before, and it's because it's new. It's a new requirement that came into being last year, and this is our first time reporting on it. So if you have certainly suggestions, feedback about how we might have this data in the future, I'm certainly happy to do that. It's a reoccurring thing we'll have to do. And with that, I'll let Scott take it away.
Thank you. Mayor and council members, my name is Scott Corey. I'm the Human Resources Officer for the city. You may recall in my my Human Resources update earlier this year, I mentioned we'd be coming back with this item. As Mr. Hawley mentioned, this is a new requirement from the state to do this annually. We'll be talking a little bit about the overall legislative direction we received from Sacramento when they adopted this, and we'll go into some detail on some of the citywide information that is included as items listed that we need to cover in this public presentation. In adopting AB 2561, the legislature found a statewide interest in ensuring a couple of things. Public agency operations are appropriately staffed, and high vacancy rates do not undermine public employee labor relations. Public agencies, as part of this, were required to annually report on the status of their vacancies, give an overview of their recruitment and retention efforts, and review policies and procedures and recruitment activities to find and remove potential obstacles in the hiring process. The presentation needs to be provided every year before the adoption of a new budget, so that the council can take into account any budgetary items they may want to include in the new budget to help address any issues that are discovered. And if the vacancy rate exceeds 20% for any particular bargaining group, we're required to provide some additional information. we noticed the Teamsters, which represents both our general unit and our mid-management unit, both in person and in writing as required, and they declined to provide a presentation. Part of the legislation allows the labor group to provide a presentation of their own, in addition, if they choose. So to provide some general information about our workforce, we're budgeted for 84 full-time positions, full-time represented positions, most of them. And the services rendered by the city's to the public by the city workforce is wide and varied. We listed some of the bold items, everything from utilities and street improvements to parks and engineering, financial management, environmental compliance, public safety support, and human resources and administration. In 2024, we had an average vacancy rate of about 7% of our full-time workforce. The high was 9.5, and the low monthly number was 4.7. Our recruitment process, I'll review it just pretty high level for the public here. When a vacancy is created through any number of reasons, the Human Resources Department creates a recruitment requisition that is sent to the departments, and they complete that, and it's routed up through finance and the city manager's office for approval to make sure we have a budgeted position for that. Once approved, Human Resources works with the department to determine the appropriate recruitment activity, what that's going to be, whether it's going to be, whether we have an existing list, an open recruitment, we'll do an open competitive recruitment, or an internal recruitment. We'll then create the job posting and advertise that through various means online and through various job boards that are appropriate. We consult with the departments to determine if there are specialized job boards that we should add that to. Once the job is posted, we begin to receive applications. Human Resources screens those for minimum job requirements based on the job classification. When we get down and we decide, when we get our pool of folks, we provide them all a candidate examination as required as part of our rules and process. The examination can be an oral board, it can be a written test, it can be a practical test. It really depends on the type of position it is and the best way to ascertain the candidate's technical skills in that particular field. The folks who score 80% or more on that testing process go onto the eligibility list, which is then referred to the department. The department reviews the eligibility list. It's in ranked order by score and determines who they would like to bring to the next phase of an internal interview with the department. After that is completed, if the interview is done, the department selects their top candidate. Human Resources then prepares an offer letter for that candidate, which is then signed by the city manager and sent out. If all goes well, we've done our job well, the candidate will accept the job offer. Which time we put them through a pre-placement background process. Basically, we check their criminal background, and they do a pre-employment physical as well. And then, when that is all completed, we give them their start date, and we welcome them on board. That's also the time in which we notify the Teamsters that there is a new represented employee, and we advise them of when the onboarding date and that sort of thing would be. And we provide them information so they could reach out to their potential new member. So in looking at our overall recruitment statistics for 2024 as regards vacancies, we filled 7 vacancies in 2024. None of them were filled by an eligibility list or an ongoing recruitment. 5 were filled by an open competitive recruitment or an internal recruitment, with an average of 222 days to fill those jobs. And 2 were filled with internal only. Those are promotional recruitments. As part of this process, we reviewed our policies and procedures and recruitment activities to identify any potential obstacles to the process. This is very much in keeping with our overall approach to human resources. After every recruitment, we do sort of a continual improvement process to see what worked, what didn't work, what needs to be tweaked, how we can improve the process. We identified some potential obstacles. One was timely communication between departments and human resources, and an obstacle relating to the complexity of specialty positions. We had two particular classifications in 2024 we recruited for, which we had not recruited for either recently or at all. They were a police technician and plant operator. We identified the following changes we could make to help remove some obstacles to speed along or improve that hiring process. One is we filled a human resources staff vacancy, and which increased our focus on recruiting and recruitment efforts. And we improved the frequency and quality of hiring discussions with the departments. There was some assumptions being made on both the parts of the departments and human resources about what the other was doing, and so we've decided to have more frequent conversations, direct conversations, not leave it to an email or other electronic communication, but actually, talk to folks and figure out what exactly is going on and what their expectations were regarding the hiring. There were a couple areas that we didn't find a way we could overcome, one of which has to do with interim or contract appointments. One of the dynamics that happens when we have a vacancy, pretty much across the organization, often the department will look for an opportunity to reorganize, do something different. Do we want to fill that position? Do we want to do it with a different position? How do we want to make that work? Sometimes during that process, we have an interim appointment with another staff member that's appointed into that role, or we hire a contract person to help us through that. Or for protracted recruitments, we need to hire an outside contract person to help us out with that. That came into play last year with the wastewater systems manager. We brought in a contract person as we were sort of weighing through the mixture of the manager. We had a new assistant director come on board. We had a chief plant operator. A lot of things were kind of happening there. So as we were trying to figure out exactly the order of things, there was a contract person who came in to help us out. And then, of course, the requirements for filling public safety support classifications. We had, for quite a number of years, had been very fortunate to have long-serving police technicians to support our police department. They both departed in 2024, so we had to do recruiting for both of them. And when you have positions that have been filled by certain individuals for a long time, there was a very definite expectation of, well, that's how that work is done. Those people do this work. That's the way they do it. And so it's an opportunity to sort of revision a little bit what the qualifications we were looking for, what some of the skill sets we were looking for. And we don't recruit police support positions very often. So there are some different additional dynamics involved in that. And so that took a little more time. So when we look at the total number of vacancies and talk about what caused those vacancies. So we had 12 total vacancies over the course of 2024. We had 7 that were developed. We had brought in 5 from the previous year. 5 of those, or 41%, were from voluntary separations. People found other opportunities, they moved, things like that. 3, or 25%, were from staff growth through newly budgeted positions. Last July, we added several new positions and were able to move some staff around. 2, 17%, were from internal opportunities and promotions. And 2, 17%, were from retirements. We experienced no involuntary separations. So part of this report, we're going to talk about the impact it had on our represented employees and the Teamsters in particular. So for the general unit, we had 4 vacancies, and 7.7% of the represented employees was what that amounted to. Quite a bit below the 20% threshold that was the level of concern for the state's work. For the mid-management unit, we had 2 vacancies for 13.3%. This is a much smaller bargaining unit. There's only 15 total employees. So you can get a relatively you can get to double-digit percentages pretty quickly when you have that smaller group. As I mentioned, the Teamsters have declined to make a presentation tonight, so that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, Scott. Can you go to slide 5? That was up pretty quick, and I was trying to look at the numbers. I'm a data guy, so I was kind of trying to see those numbers real quick and have a question.
Yep.
5, okay. Is some of the numbers kind of skewed because we decided not to backfill certain positions because, you know, we were playing the interim roles for a couple of positions? Wouldn't that impact your data because we're purposely not backfilling?
Yeah, it wouldn't impact the number of vacancies, but it definitely would impact the length of time that they were left vacant.
Okay. And then secondly, on the point scale that you use, you said, I think you said somewhere it had 80%. If they score 80%, they get to move on to the next stage.
Yes.
Is there any military points equated? And is there any local resident points that we give for the scoring?
We don't have any additional points or anything for local residents. We get a large number of local residents that apply for jobs here and that are successful through the process. So I don't really perceive there's a need to incentivize that particularly. With the veterans, it is where the benefit comes in is at the examination process. So they can get extra points through the examination process.
Okay, so that's in there. Okay, thank you. Councilmember Cruz.
Scott, thank you for the presentation. A couple of questions. So when you are doing the candidate examination, is that outsourced or is that internal?
We do that internally.
And how are the examinations created?
So if we have written examinations, we have a testing service that helps us with those. Those are typically very skills-based sorts of things. We do online testing for things like Word experience, Excel, some math skills, things like that for some of our finance department. We may provide an internal test we do through our finance in particular to make sure their skills are at a level that will be able to perform the skills that are needed in finance. If it's a practical exam, we use practical exams a lot for maintenance workers, for example. We have a 4-station examination they go through, and they move from station to station, perform various tasks. We consult with our Public Works Department to determine which tasks are most reflective. We've got that down to a pretty good system right now. It's a little trip around the courtyard, and you get to do 4 different things. And we're just looking for basic competencies and how they can handle things like basic concrete work, framing, some really basic plumbing, some tools, identification, things like that. The oral exams we use frequently for professional and type positions, and those we bring in subject matter experts from other agencies to ask a series of questions and really vet out the technical background of the candidates.
Great, thank you. I did notice that it popped up with police technicians in particular. Is there a background process for that, considering that these folks, men and women, will be working around sensitive information?
Yeah.
Obviously, is there some type of background that they go through?
Yes, there's an extensive background process. Lieutenant Dudley over at the police department works on the hiring for those, and once they go through the initial interview process, there's an extensive background process that is essentially defined by, in some ways, by post and other things like that before they even get to their final interview. So that's one of the reasons why it took a while to find some police technicians, because we had quite a few people come through and not pass that process.
Gotcha. Thank you, Scott.
Sure.
Vice Mayor Joseph.
Yes, Scott, thank you for the report. Staying on that same page, even though the average number of vacancies is 4 or 5 or 7% or whatever. It is trending upwards, so there was 4 in January and 8 by December. Is that a trend that we should be worried about, or is that just something else going on?
Right, so we got 3 new vacancies in July because we added them through the budget.
Okay.
So we had a jump up right there immediately in July of some positions. We had a couple of, one of the positions was filled by an internal candidate, so that maintained that number. We still had a vacancy, it was just changed the one it was. And then in November and December, we had some people who had retired or left the organization.
Okay.
So I'll know, honestly, we'll know more as we do this year over year and begin to see if there are monthly trends that develop. But at the moment, that's not particularly alarming. It's just data at the moment.
And we're still well below the 20% threshold. So
Correct, yes.
Then, in terms of suggestions for next year, the only thought I had was so much of this data is similar to your annual HR report. It makes sense to either merge or combine them and do one report that is, meets all the legal requirements here, and then augment it with the other good stuff that you've got. So that's the extent of my suggestions. Very good report overall. Thank you.
If there's no other questions from council, at this time, I'd like to open it to public comment for item number 24. Seeing no one in the room. Anyone online?
No one is online.
Okay. The ask here is simply just a read and file, correct, Mr. Holly?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so we'll just file that, and so thank you. And then we'll move on to the next item.
Thank you, Scott.
Moving on to management and staff oral reports, Mr. Holly.
Thank you, Mayor. We have our first presenter coming at you. Going to talk about water reclamation, environmental services, and collections divisions. Assistant Director Woods.
Did it go up here?
Yes, it's a turn. Okay, boss. Just hit the arrows. You can hit the arrows. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, good evening. Sorry, I didn't have all my notes in the current one, so I had to bring up my laptop, so I'm going to be multitasking here at the same time. Apologize for that. I am Norman Woods, and good evening, City Council, Mayor Washington. I'm Norman Woods, Assistant Public Works Director for the City of American Canyon. I'm here to update the city on the Public Works Utilities Division, which consists of the water treatment plant, the water reclamation facility, the collections, and the distribution divisions. First, I want to thank my managers and my supervisors, Pam Phillips, Nolan Garcia, Chris Morris, Dominic Patrick, Francisco Ramirez, in addition to our contractor, Brian Anderson. Without them, couldn't run this division. They're amazing, and I just wanted to give them their flowers publicly because they're definitely part of what makes this whole thing go. This update covers just the summer of 2024 to about April of this year. The reason why this is such a small snap size is because the divisions are so big. If you wanted a more granular look, we'd probably have to do them one at a time, bring the water in here, bring the wastewater in here, really tear things apart and really dive into the projects we're doing out there and let you guys be able to get into there. So that could be done upon a request if you guys decided to do that. So just to let you know. Starting with the water reclamation facility, the water reclamation facility is an anaerobic MBR facility, which does 1.5 MGD a day and discharges to the San Francisco Bay. Our main objectives are to improve the quality of wastewater by eliminating pollutants and toxins and preserving our natural water resource use. It's staffed by 4 certified operators and 1 mechanic. We want to operate and maintain the water reclamation facility with stringent and state local limits, and we maintain all the 5 sewer pump and lift stations throughout the city of American Canyon. We want to maintain a safe workplace out there, stay up with emerging technologies and trends, which are very important with membrane technology, and also we're always looking to continually improve our culture, our industry, which is important in our industry, and our workplace culture out there, which is really, really, really important. A few of the activities we have going on at the water reclamation facility is that we just completed a drain through liner for our Vactor dump location, which is actually very important. We did it with our collections team. There was a cost savings because we did a lot of that work in-house. It allows for our collections team to clean out the Vactor in a designated area, which saves time, money, as I said over, and it increases safety. So, and that's right at the headworks of our facility. I have a picture later on in the slides to show you to reflect that is. Another thing we've done is we replaced a membrane, which is going to help with our flows and our capacities when everything increases with wet weather. And one of the bigger things we've been working on is our high strength waste project. Been having a lot of conversations with GHD, Brown and Caldwell, Corollo, Kennedy Jinks, just really trying to really work out the anaerobic MBR technology that we think would be best for our facility out there. So yeah, it's very important walking around our facility, trying to find out places where we could clear out land and get things done. Some of the projects that we have coming up that are in the works is a SCADA upgrade at the water reclamation facility, which actually just got approved, and we're going to be getting that done. The RFP for the water treatment plant goes out probably this month. It'll head out for a SCADA out there. Master plans for both facilities, the water and wastewater treatment facilities. And we have solids hauling, that's supposed to be SB 1383 that we have to get out of our pond. We have a lot of solids we have to haul out of there. And an additional membrane replacement we're going to have done later on this year. So that will be sometime right before the wet weather hits. Speaking of our amazing collections team, they're committed to providing responsible and reliable services for our community through a comprehensive maintenance and operations program. It's staffed by 4 certified collection workers and a supervisor. These are some of the points that they work on, but those guys are truly amazing. What I don't have up here is a number of emergency responses our collections team actually responds to. It's 365 days a year, but when the weather is really wet, those guys are really out there in the public connecting with people. Once again, got to give them their flowers, but they're cleaning the sewer system. They have immense knowledge on how to respond to sewer spills. They have CCTV and cameras for the collection system. Once again, I have another picture later on in the slides. I'll explain it to you guys, but they're a real good group, and they work real hard. Oh, speaking of the liner, the drain through liner, this was done in-house. It's the headworks. It allows us to drop our trash up there at our headworks, and it then drains to our one of our ponds over there. So it was really needed. It was important, and the fact that they were able to do it in-house was a real good collaborative effort. Once again, flowers goes out. Some of the collections highlights they've had from June to April. I won't go through the whole list, but they completed wiring setup of the new CCTV trailer to operate the new Granite software. It's an amazing thing that they do. Saves time, uses technology as an advantage, which I'm a big proponent of, is using technology to help us do our jobs a little bit better. Cleaned out our center pond, which gave us 500,000 gallons of capacity that we gained there, and 3 smart covers were installed. Those smart covers help us with flow, level control, and help with potential gases that are in manholes, so that's also a big safety concern as well. Moving on to the water treatment plant. Our water treatment plant can produce up to 5 MGD a day when fully optimized, and we get our water from the North Bay Aqueduct. Our main objective is to remove impurities and contaminants from water, making it safe for human consumption. The water plant, which has our distribution team out there, is staffed by 3 certified water operators and 1 mechanic. Once again, our distribution team is also out there, and they have 5 workers with 1 supervisor, in addition to 2 part-time service workers to help with the load that those guys are lifting out there. Tremendous amount of work that they do out there. They operate and maintain the water treatment plant to meet the stringent and state local limits, maintain and operate the conventional and MBR treatment facilities, because there's 2 facilities out there when you go out to the water treatment plant. There's an older conventional one, and there's a membrane facility out there, so it requires a certain level of expertise and energy to be able to do both of them. And we want to maintain a safe work environment and stay up on emerging technologies, once again, which have to do with our membrane, and always looking for continual improvement and growth. Some of our water division stats, once again, we'll go through all of it, but as you can see, that's our water team responding to a water main break out there. Oh, did I not move it? Oh, sorry about that. Responding to a water main break out there. They just got out there and just really, it's impressive. I don't get a chance to go out there all the time and see the crew work, but I actually got out there that day, and that my helmet wasn't on right, so I got yelled at by one of my supervisors, Cisco. But it was amazing. They really got out there and they fixed it. They've responded to over 1,700 service calls, 307 USA responses, 650 shutoffs. They're always talking to the community. They're always out there engaging people, and they're working hard. There's a small crew of guys. Yes, it's a small city, but there's a lot of work that had to be done. This isn't even counting the hydrant flushing that was going on. So they'd be in the middle of hydrant flushing, get a call for a break, and then they'd reroute and go over there and they'd fix a water main break. So that's really good. And like I said, once again, I'm not going to read off all the accomplishments, but just know that they're extremely active in our community and they do a lot of work. Some of our water division project stats that I want to put up there, just at the facility itself, not out in the community, is we replaced the lighting in the membrane plant building. As you can see, Councilman Cruz came out there and took a look at the facility. That building was completely dark in there. You couldn't even work. So if tools got dropped or anything like that, it was completely dark in there, and we were able to get that done. We replaced a membrane strainer to help with water quality. We moved sludge from one of the ponds out there after testing and hauling it away. But as I said, I won't go into all of them, but once again, a lot of work that was being done. And one of the big focuses I'm having post CMS, which is coming here real soon, is focused on infrastructure and education and building a comprehensive and budget responsible master plan to address some of the challenges out at the water treatment plant, because it's definitely time to put a high level of focus onto that. So you can expect to be seeing me soon talking to you guys about that. And last is our environmental services division. Our main objective is to protect the public health and environment by ensuring compliance with relevant laws and regulations while also promoting environmental awareness and stewardship. This is one of the more active divisions. You have 3 people doing the work of many people with a great deal of public interaction, from schools to businesses to other divisions within the city, fire department. Our environmental services division really do a lot. I actually got some of the information from our environmental services manager, and I'm probably not doing her justice because I didn't get all the things on all the slides that she wanted me to put on there. So if you ever want us to come back, just with the environmental services division himself, I'm sure Pam be more than willing to come back and do this. That staff, they meet the City of American's stringent state and local regulatory limits while also promoting outreach. They're really busy out in the community. They maintain and operate all the city's permits and compliance obligations. They maintain a safe work environment. They stay up with emerging technologies and trends, which is not easy in this particular field, because state laws, OSHA, there's a lot of things that change with regulations. From administration, or from, just from accidents happening, because sometimes things can be responsive. So anyhow, you want to stay up, and we're always looking for continual improvement and growth. They do a great job of going out to training, making sure that that they're staying up on the latest and greatest, and that we're pursuing that technology. Some of the programs that the environmental services runs, like I said, not going to read them all, but if you just go down that list, it is a massive list. And as I said, this is only some of what Pam gave me. There's a lot more that can go on this list right here. So just know, from water reclamation facility, that's just in site pre-treatment inspections, recycled water permits, water conservation publics. And this is not even talking about the outreach that they're doing as well. Sustainability, EV charging, which got to give a nod to you too, Erica, for really pushing this EV charger out here. And some more environmental services programs. I want to put out there, Ajuma, one of our environmental specialists out there working out the wetlands with the kids. I just thought it was a great picture to be able to put out there. The water reclamation facility laboratory, just some of the samples they processed, the 2,000 samples, effluent, the testing to California Department of Health, which requires collaboration with other administrations being a part of a program. And look at in the bottom, the number of things they manage: 49 commercial permits, 22 discharge permits, 3 SIU permits, 58 permitted commercial users. Just a lot of work that's being done there. And I think this is my last slide because I want to do her justice with the environmental services. And if you see the water bottle stations that are up there that just got installed, there's 3 of them. And as you see, the permits right here, the stormwater support, illicit discharges, 11 investigations. It's one of the things that we do is that we send our workers out into the public to try and find out things that are happening in our city. If things are being dumped, if businesses aren't following what they're doing, you know, and that's something that you take a lot of pride in because, you know, there's a little bit of a risk there with that. So there has to be training that goes along with that as well. And on the bottom piece is the outreach. Donaldson Way, some of the things that they're doing for the outreach, the Citizens Academy, Meet Me in the Streets, which Pam just talked to me about. And I think that's pretty much it. I can go on and on about it, but I didn't want to. I just realized I've been talking for 14 minutes and trying to kill you guys. I did want to highlight some of our staff accomplishments. A couple of our guys, they did pass some awards. Kelly Lockhart passed his grade 1 for collections. Daniel Finnegan passed his treatment plant operator grade 3. You know, we had a lot of mid-managers complete the RGS Leadership Academy, which I didn't have the picture in this one, but I used it at the Citizens Academy at the school last Friday, so I showed everybody. But that was pretty much it. Just wanted to recognize the staff. I've been here 6 months. I just want to tell you all how amazing you all are. You know, I mean, jumping into this new role, I want to take this time to, you know, thank Jason for the opportunity, Erica for the mentorship, Juan for the mentorship. All of you have been so wonderful. All of you, the conversations I had with you and each you pouring into me, I really do appreciate it, and that I'm going to continue to try to do the best job I can for you guys. So with that, if there are any questions, I am ready to take them.
Thank you, Norm. And I want to say, you know, I appreciate you acknowledging your team. And several times during your presentation, you were praising a lot of them. That's the sign of a good leader, in my opinion. So I just want to say thank you. You have a lot of stuff going on, and continue to do what you're doing, man. You know, so I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cruz.
Yeah, Norm, thanks for that presentation. Again, flowers to you and your team for doing such a good job. Thank you for showing me the way, both at the WTP and at WRF. My question goes back to the CCTV system that you have up there. Because I remember in our conversation on our walks, there were a few incidents, if you will, maybe nothing major. So my question is, do you have CCTV covering 360 on both the WRF and the WTP?
I'm not sure how much Chris actually uses it. He and I had a little bit of a conversation about it because he knows how much I want it to be utilized, but I don't want to answer it inaccurately. So let me get back to you with an answer that actually does it. I know he uses it quite a bit, but in terms of how much he's using it at the reclamation facility and the water treatment plant and out in the public, I'd have to find out.
Appreciate that.
And I'll get back to you with it.
A follow up to that. So if there's something to be triggered, if I imagine we're not monitoring it, or does someone have access to that? So if it was triggered right now at WRF, can someone bring up cameras to see if there's some type of unauthorized personnel in the area?
Councilmember Cruz is talking about the security system, not the CCTV cameras.
The security system itself. Oh, in terms of
both.
Okay.
Yeah, both.
I know Safe House in Vercata is scheduled to come out. I think they just finished at the water treatment plant. They had priority first to come here, do City Hall, and I think that I'm not sure, was the new courtyard on that list too? I think new courtyard. So And then I think the water treatment plant and I think the water reclamation facility is then in line there. So they should be coming out in a week or so to be able to do that.
Thank you. One last question. Now, I went out to the WTP. I did see that old data system that looked like it's from Back to the Future, about 50 years old. Is there any talk about having that upgraded, replaced, or whatever the case may be? I know it'd be pretty expensive.
There's significant talk about it, and there's a lot of reasons why it hasn't been upgraded yet, but it's definitely really high on my priority list to be able to present a master plan that includes the replacement of that PCB panel in addition to a lot of the upgrades that need to happen at the conventional facility. And then quite possibly even further down the road, the expansion of the MBR facility. It's just tying it all together and putting that plan together and being able to present it to you guys. There is going to be obviously costs associated with it, and I think that's where the conversation will kind of get a little bit more interesting, but I'm going to present the plan to you for sure.
Great. Norman, again, thank you to your team. Erica, you're definitely a keeper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other reports, Mr. Holly?
Sorry. Director Cooper has a brief update about something happening tomorrow.
Thanks, Norman.
All right. Good evening, Council. Members of the public, Brent Cooper, Community Development Director. Just wanted to give you an update that tomorrow morning, the Napa County Airport Land Use Commission will review our general plan update. And pleased to announce that the staff is recommending a conformance determination, which is what we're looking for. So glad to get that milestone taken care of, and we'll be back to you on May 20 for, hopefully, certification of the EAR and approval of the general plan and first reading of the ordinance. So thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
That's all we had, Mayor. Thanks.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Holly. Thank you, Brent. Moving on to our mayor and council comments and committee reports. Vice Mayor Joseph.
Well, I apologize for not doing anything in writing. I've gotten out of that habit, and I have to get myself back into it. But a couple of things. Mayor Washington and I attended the SR 37 meeting, where we heard that there is funding or part of the funding package that they're trying to get for the first phase includes some new trails in Vallejo that would kind of supplement the Vine Trail down there and work for us. So that's kind of an exciting news. There's still a lot of debate and discussion over the tolling aspects of the new road. At Napa Valley Transportation Authority, we have hired a new executive director, but we aren't going to announce who that person is until our May 21st board meeting. So it's a teaser comment. And we did have the Highway 29 community meeting last week that was very well attended. If we knew, we should have gotten a larger room. It was a little crowded, but you never know. So that was good. We're getting good feedback. Climate Action Committee, we are wrapping up the RCAP, the Regional Climate Action and Adaptation Plan, and kind of debating over how we should handle the environmental review, and I think that will be continued in some discussion. Lastly, the volunteer recognition ball went well. I think we can, there's still opportunities for improvement, so we'll keep at it, but it was nice that it was there and a lot of people enjoyed themselves. And my last one is a pitch for tomorrow at 4 p.m. downstairs in Supervisor Ramos's office. Her first student art contest is going to be, we're going to announce the winners, and we'll have some light refreshments, and it'll just be fun.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
So you're all invited.
Councilmember Oro.
Thank you, Mayor. I too need to get back on the written report wagon, because I actually do have a lot to report, and I'll put that in my report for May 20th. And my report now is that I won't be here on May 20th, so you get to read all about it. I am traveling for business, and I can't get out of it. So have a great meeting, and I'll watch you on YouTube at 1.5 speed. So very nice. With the mute on, yes.
Councilmember Lamartina.
I have been on vacation, so I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Cruz.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So attended the leadership retreat with Manager Jason Hawley. We had a great time. We did a lot of networking. We had the opportunity to meet Senator Christopher Cabaldon, so that was a great opportunity. Thank you, Jason, for letting me attend with you. We had a Memorial Day meeting with Ale and Alana. That's going well. It's still going as planned, so thank you to them. I did attend in place of Mayor Pierre, Napa County Flood Control and Water Conservation District. We did a property acquisition out of necessity, of course. Of course, we had our first meeting with the Wallet Hills with myself, with the mayor and Ali and Alana. And of course, the mayor and I, we attended the middle school ACMS open house, which was awesome. Got to see the school, you know, all my kids went to that school, all 4 of my kids. I haven't been there obviously in quite some time, but they've really changed it quite a bit, and it's going to good use of the monies that's being allocated to that school. And of course, the recognition ball was good. Vice Mayor Joseph did a really good job in your place, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. I have nothing to add to my report, which is on file. We'll move to future agenda items. Any from council?
I think I'm already on the list for the Audubon, we had a local resident make a recommendation that we should have a presentation from Audubon, so I'm putting it on as a second request on his behalf, so there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're scheduling that in September, if my memory is right.
Okay. Councilmember Oral?
Yeah, I think we all received some correspondence from Mr. William Baker about parking over by Veterans Park. And we also got, I think, signatures from 100 or so citizens, if not more. I would love to have a discussion about that and how that comes online, if we could put that in. You know, he recommended at the time just putting in some policies in place before residents move in. And I know that they're moving into that Broadway project home probably sometime this summer. If we could find and squeeze in a way, at least a little hearing on that, and then figure out a policy ahead of that population, or if do nothing at all would be the process. So that's what I would request.
Thank you, Councilmember Oral. Any other future agenda items? No? That's my time saying we're up.
So, Mayor, when we do have future agenda items, we do go through a motion and a memorization process, motion and voting, and just want to get clarification on that item. Are we bringing this as a more informational item on what our process is and what options might be, or?
I think we're aware of the options. I think we're aware of what is standard today. I think what I want to do is talk about a way to address residents' concerns, and that may be a policy, and I would love a policy to, if it's informational and policy recommendations, and it comes back to us with policy, like
I was just trying to figure out if we wanted to make it more of a two-step thing, or you wanted me to just to bring a staff recommendation and a resolution, like as a singular item that night, or do you want to say, here's informational, here's options, and then give us direction, come back a second time? That was the clarification I was wanting.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's fine. That's
yeah,
what
so I don't know. Like I would like to bring the item forward. If we could all do it in one swoop, we could do it in one swoop. But it's a new thing for the city of American Canyon to do permitting and parking area as the resident suggested. Yeah. And I would think that would warrant some discussion in return.
Let me do a little bit of research on it, and we need to get with our police chief about it and look at what some of the vehicle code and streets and highways code aspects are.
So I would make that motion to bring that item forward.
I'll second that, because I think it's important to discuss what are the tools we already have, and it's just a matter of how do we want to direct our police accordingly. And then some might be new things like a permit, which might be worth some debate. So I think it could be something where there's some background and discussion, but allow the latitude to give us the ability to provide some direction, unless it involves creating a whole new process or something. But
I'll try to navigate towards that. I think I understand.
And would that include like ordinances that we may want to try to come up with new ordinances?
We're going to go back and research what Vice Mayor was saying, what exists already, what might be new, and we'll bring a package forward that I think, and the public, give them an opportunity to provide their feedback. And we'll do our best to notify the neighborhood, so we make sure that we have good comments that come in, good awareness from the community that we're working on something. And yeah, I don't exactly know how we're going to present it, but we've got to do a little bit of research first. So.
And since they're, like they say, occupancy is about to happen, should we try to get that earlier, sooner than later, than on our next agenda or next council meeting?
I can tell you it's not going to be on the May 20 agenda, in part because we have two massive things coming on that agenda, including the general plan and the budget. June 3rd, realistically, we're looking at the July, the second meeting in July for this, in part because we've got, as we can look on this future agenda calendar, we have the calendar pretty well built out here. Final budget on June 3rd is typically a big item, also with LAD. Depending on, we might be able to bring something back on the 3rd. Let me take a little bit of a dive on this and see where we are as far as June 3rd is. Otherwise, we'd be looking at July 15th.
Yeah, and I think the urgency is, you know, the move-in date is one thing, but we can adopt this policy at any time. It's just, it'd be nice, I think the request from that community is put it in place so it doesn't seem like we're just doing it for the Broadway district-specific plan or the Broadway project, but we're really doing it for the Broadway project and the residents there in terms of their requests. So, you know, and I know it's staff, you've got a lot coming up too, and so I want to be respectful of that. I know this is important, but it's not drop-dead important, honestly. I think we can wait till later June, or if it has to be July, it could be July.
Okay, we have a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cruz?
Yes.
Councilmember Lamatina?
Yes.
Councilmember Oro?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Joseph?
Yes.
Mayor Washington?
Yes. If there are no more future agenda items, we have concluded our business for this evening. We are adjourned. Good night, American Canyon.